everyone, welcome to the JobStream channel. I'm Jessica Zeitz and I'm here with my co-founder and business partner Adonis McReynolds. And today we have a fun video for job seekers about mindset. So I know sometimes it sounds like, who cares? I need a job. I don't care what my mind is. But to be honest, your mindset is your number one most important tool in getting a job and also in living a happy and fulfilling life. This I know from personal experience because I used to be the same way where I was like, who cares? My mind is there. Obviously, I'm there. I hired this business coach. I want to get rich. Of course, I'm in the right mindset. And it turned out that I wasn't at all. And when I actually got my mindset right, all the pieces fell into place and I was able to scale my business to 6 figures. So it really, really is important. And I'm super excited to get into it today. So I'll let Adonis start us off with our first really important mindset.
Yeah, awesome. Appreciate you saying all that, Jess. And I just want to add to that as well. You know, a lot of people out there, you're seeing a lot of depression. You're seeing a lot of sadness. You're seeing a lot of just really sad stories out there on LinkedIn. And I don't want to, minimize the fact that there are some people out there that are going through some really tough times. I mean, we would be remiss in saying, that it's all their fault or that, things aren't drastically changing in the world that are impacting people's lives in a negative way, right? So we completely understand that. We're not dismissing that by any means. What we are saying, though, is that what won't help you in whatever negative case or whatever things that are going on in your life, it never hurts to have a great mindset, right? But what will hurt you is having a negative mindset. If you allow the clouds, the dark, gloomy clouds of social media and the news and all these things to infiltrate your mind, you basically opened yourself up to just doom, right? And so we don't want that. That's what actually keeps us from being able to progress and have any level of success in life, is if we're always thinking negatively about what's going on. We have to find the positives in life. We have to understand, like, not everything that is read online or spoken on in the news is the truth. Like, the fact of the matter is there's actually a lot of good happening in the world, believe it or not. And good can happen for you too when you change your mindset and how you operate. So the first thing that we'll talk about in terms of mindset, which I think is really important, is we're going to talk a little bit about the importance of assuming responsibility, right? Now, there's a number of things that you can't control. I'm not saying that you could control what happened with the epidemic years ago. I'm not saying that you can control losing your job due to being laid off, right? Those are things that are out of our control. But the idea of assuming responsibility when it comes to mindset is this idea that anything that is within my control, I am responsible for and I'm going to take ownership of, right? And this is a powerful mentality, because if you're never really thinking in terms of I am actually in control of things, I actually can control things that I do, things that I say, ways that I think, it's really going to poison your mind. It's going to make you think like, oh, like everyone's out to get me. There's nothing I can do. And when you start getting into that mindset of like, there's nothing I can do, that's when real true despair sets in, right? And you're really not able to do anything because your limiting beliefs are stopping you from being able to take action. So number one way to fix mindset in terms of order is we have to kind of look inwards and say, okay, what am I responsible for? What negative thoughts are coming from my own will? What am I willing to think about that is not helping me to progress, right? And how can I change that? How can I move from having a negative mentality to going into a positive mentality? What do you think, Jess? What would you advise for people that are really struggling with that negativity and, struggling with like maybe even identifying ways that they've been at fault for different things that have happened?
Yeah, so I would say call us. No, I'm joking, but we can help. But no, so what I would say is to try to do one positive action, just one small action. So like, it could be, and don't make it too big. Like I used to be like, oh, I have to go on the treadmill for 1 hour every day. And then of course I would never do it because an hour seems so long. So now I say I need to go on the treadmill for 5 minutes, literally just 5 minutes. And then of course I do it because, 5 minutes is so much easier. And then I end up staying on for 15, 20, 30 minutes every day. And even if I'm not doing an hour a day, 30 minutes a day is still a lot of exercise versus nothing at all. So when it comes to job hunting, I would say do the same. Let's say you get laid off, give yourself some grace, give yourself, a couple of days to be sad and cry and be depressed and eat all the ice cream, but then start doing one positive thing. So that means like applying to a job, calling a recruiter, going to a placement agency, talking to us on JobStream, fixing your resume, anything that like you could do it in half an hour and just set that small goal, because once you start taking action, you're going to start feeling the clouds lifting because you're going to have hope again. So instead of being like, oh, I just got laid off and I'll never get another job and it's going to take me 6 months to get a job and I don't have enough savings and what am I going to do? It's like, okay, I did my resume today. That's a step in the right direction. I'm moving forward. Okay, I applied for 3 jobs today. I'm moving forward. And just these little small steps will really help shift your mindset and to show you that you still have value, to show you that you have the motivation. So that would be my advice.
There you go. Yeah, it's kind of like that atomic habits, right? Like you're doing something consistently every day that's moving you in the right direction. And the one thing you can't allow is for you to become complacent, lazy. Not doing anything is the worst thing that you could do. And believe it when I say that doing nothing is actually doing something. It's choosing to move in the opposite direction, to backslide, to create a bigger hole for yourself than you want. So the only way is forward. If you keep moving backward, you're only going to get more depressed. You're only going to get more sad. Like, we don't want that. You don't want that. Trust. You want to move forward. You want to figure out a way. What activities can I be doing? And write them down. And like, if you're struggling to remember, and really put it on your calendar. Make sure that you have time slotted on your calendar to do these things. And, even if it's a little bit of time every day that you're spending at first, it's better than nothing, right? So great points, Jess. I also wanted to talk about providing value. Right? Providing value is very important for job seekers. Job seekers don't realize this, but an employer is not just going to hire you because you're unemployed, right? And I think a lot of us know that, but sometimes we can act as if like they do owe us that, right? Where they do owe us like a spot on their team. And the truth of the matter is we're living in an economy where, you're going to get picked based on the value you can provide. You don't want to be paying somebody for nothing. So I think it's pretty obvious, like one of the biggest things that companies are looking for, and we actually do have a whole video on what companies are looking to do and how they're looking to hire. They're looking to hire go-getters. They're looking to hire people that are big on relationships, that are big on collaboration, that are creative and flexible and, hardworking. So those are just general things that, if you want a job, like you should definitely exemplify some of those traits and start working on those traits in yourself. But, start studying up on specific things. Like the biggest thing that you could do for yourself in terms of providing value is, coming to each individual with an identity. We actually have an identity form in this whole thing that we do when we work with our clients, where we really help them to understand and clarify their goals, who they are as people, and what is their existential purpose. For more on that, you can see our video on identity. That's pretty long. It's about 29 minutes, but it's worth every second. But yeah, once you have your identity, now you can go with clarity to each individual that you're looking to, connect with and offer value to them. You can tell them, hey, this is what I believe that I'm born to do. Here are my skills. Here's what I do. And then that kind of can facilitate those conversations. It's also helpful if you have good relationships with people in your network that you can leverage. So always be connecting with great people. And then if you have services, like you might be thinking to yourself, man, like I don't have a job. I don't have services that I can offer to someone. That's totally okay. When I was unemployed at one point in time, I actually became an affiliate for some different companies. One easy way to, make money, especially if you're in sales or marketing or something like that, is demonstrate your skills, right? Like offer to sell a product for free, initially to a company and like be on commission basis and prove yourself to a company by selling services that are valuable. And the beautiful thing about affiliate services is just about any company has an affiliate program. So you basically get to choose what you would like to sell and represent to the world. So take advantage of that. We're living in a day and age where affiliate programs are definitely in. I'll let Jess touch on whatever other points that she wants to touch on. I only have like one more that I was going to touch on for mindset.
Yeah, for sure. So just to like continue on with what you're saying, I think confidence really comes from clarity and action. So the more clear you are on your skills and your value, the more consistent with your outreach, you're going to be confident. And just like, you have to have the mindset first, but you also have to have the action to back it up. So if you're just like, yeah, I'm really valuable and I can provide great services, but then you're not doing anything about that, like you're not talking to people, you're not applying for jobs, you're not showing off those skills, like it doesn't really matter. It doesn't matter if you have the greatest idea in the world if you're not putting it into execution. So you need to have some action as well, but you also need to have that mindset of like, okay, what do I do? What's my value? And then the confidence will come from there. So mindset first, then take the action. That's really, really important as well. And then another point that I really wanted to talk about is to be in the mindset that rejection is not personal, it's redirection. So just because you get a no, instead of saying like, okay, now my whole day is ruined, think, okay, I got a no because I'm closer to the right yes. So companies will reject resumes for all kinds of reasons, and it doesn't always have to do with you personally. It could be like, okay, missing a keyword, or they were looking for something a little bit different. That doesn't mean you're not good at what you do. It's just that another candidate had exactly what they wanted. Or sometimes they just missed your resume altogether because they're using applicant tracking software, and 75% of resumes don't even get seen. So maybe they didn't even see you at all, and it's not personal. And then I love this analogy for that of like, think about when you're eating chocolate cake, and if you have a dog at home and your dog is begging for the chocolate cake, and you can't give the chocolate cake to your dog because it's poisonous to them and they'll get really sick if they eat it. So like, you kind of feel sad because your dog doesn't know that, right? Your dog is just begging, and all they know is that you're not giving them what looks so tasty and smells so delicious. So that's kind of what happens with rejection. So instead of thinking like, oh my God, this is the end of the world, or I didn't get what I want and being so depressed, think, okay, the universe is me eating the chocolate cake, and I'm now the dog. So the universe is holding back something from me because it's bad for me, or because something so much better is coming. And if I were to get this opportunity now, I would miss out on the better thing. So I love thinking that when things go wrong, like, okay, instead of saying like, yeah, of course, sometimes I'm like, what a bad day, I can't believe this happened, whatever. But after a few minutes of like marinating in that, I switch to the mindset of like, actually, this is just a chocolate cake scenario. I'm the dog. The universe is holding it back because it would have been bad for me. Something better is coming, and it really brightens my day. So that's just a little quick trick that I like to use to shift your mindset when something is going wrong. So those are the main points that I wanted to bring up. So you can finish off your point.
Yeah, great points. And I hear people say all the time, thank God, right, that I didn't end up getting that job that I thought that I wanted, because it ended up being a total like dumpster fire, right? So just remember, God has your best interest at heart. You're going to eventually land somewhere if you do the requisite work. And we're here to help you with that, right? Like JobStream AI is here to support job seekers everywhere. Doesn't matter where you're from, doesn't really matter what kind of industry that you're in. Like any way that we can support you, we definitely want to. And by all means, like go and check out all of our other videos. We've literally put out an entire YouTube channel out there for you to get comfortable, to understand what goes into finding a great job these days. And in terms of the execution of that, come see us and we'll be happy to help you out. Have a call with you, or even like a face-to-face, like a Zoom or a G Meet or something along those lines. And until next time, we will see you.
Yep, see you on the other side.